Join me with Honda's 2019-2020 Specification CBR650R. This model was released in 2019 and comes at a time that's a bit strange in the middleweight sports bike category. Just a few years ago, Honda had the CBR650R, which was fighting tooth and nail alongside like-minded competitors from all the other major manufacturers. A combination of falling sales and tougher emission laws effectively killed the 600cc race rep class, with it no longer financially viable to continue development of increasingly expensive machines against poor showroom performance. Subsequently, the CBR600RR was replaced by the CBR650F in 2014. It was a less powerful, less aggressive bike with a leaning more towards sport touring than supersport. This R model replaces that F model and, in Honda's words, offers aggressive styling and a racier riding position to offer a more highly tuned sports performance for the street. What does that mean in reality? Well, it means a bit more power. Foot pegs are further back and slightly higher up. The bars are slightly lower as well. Seat height remains a relatively low 810mm. The engine is a 649cc 4-stroke inline-4, producing 94 brake horsepower and 64 Nm of torque. This power figure is up 5% on the F, and Honda promises a smoother and stronger torque delivery. Redline's been boosted to 12,000 RPM, which is an increase of 1,000. For UK licence holders, a conversion kit is available for the A2 licence. Both wheels are 17-inch with a 120 section on the front and a 180 on the rear. Brakes are provided by Nissan with 310mm discs on the front and 240mm on the rear. The tank is a pretty small 15.4 litres, so it'll be interesting to see how I'll get on with range. The dash is a pretty attractive colour affair, with all the usual types of information being displayed. This is an immediately obvious improvement over the CBR650F, which had just a pair of small mono screens. This model shaves 6 kilos from the F model, but that's not to say it's a featherweight. It's still tipping the scales at 208 kilos, although it seems to hide it quite well. That's my initial thoughts anyway, possibly due to a low centre of gravity. Now, with all that out of the way, let's go see what she's actually like on the road.
The first thing you notice when climbing aboard is how physically small the bike is. I recently rode a CB1000R which, despite having a larger engine, felt like it had similar dimensions. After a couple of hours riding that, I was pretty uncomfortable, so I was immediately concerned for this CBR. I shouldn't have worried though. I'm 5'11", average height, and despite its small dimensions, I found this bike pretty comfortable, certainly much more so than the aforementioned CB1000R. The second thing that hit me is how smooth the engine is, with very little in the way of vibrations coming back through the bars. It needs working hard to extract its power, but it coats your demands without any fuss. And that brings me onto the chassis. What's evident here is that it should be able to handle more power than it's currently being asked to accommodate. I'm sure it's no coincidence that the outright power output means the bike can be throttled sufficiently in order to make it A2 licence legal in the UK. And that's no criticism of Honda, it's sensible in order to maximise the potential market. But if I had one, I'd have no qualms in tuning it higher. This chassis is good. This is a low-cost bike when compared to some of its competitors. It's £7,729, which, when you consider that some of the CBR's traditional rivals have crept up to £12,000 or more, makes it something of a bargain. At the start, I alluded to the fact that the 600cc class is fragmented, with out-and-out race reps all but dead. This has left manufacturers trying to work out how to best position bikes to fill that void. Honda's gone with a halfway house approach of sports tourer instead of all-out supersport, and it works. It also keeps the price down, even if the bike isn't as powerful or fast as the so-called rivals, which cost 50% more.
In summary then, this is a great bike at a fantastic price. If I was being really picky, I'd ask for some more bite from the brakes, to be honest, and some more power. But, like I say, nothing's perfect, and I can honestly give you no strong recommendation not to buy this bike. And there's not much that I can say that's better than that in terms of a recommendation. Okay, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.